I can't stand waiting. Who does? I wonder if anyone would choose waiting over immediate gratification given the option. If I'm in a store, I am going to choose the shortest checkout line. I love to bake, but I never make yeast bread because I hate waiting for it to rise. When I paint my nails, I use a quick, dry top coat. I hate to wait. Unfortunately, there are some things that require waiting, whether I like it or not. Some things are out of my control, like the time it takes to heal from an injury or surgery or heartbreak, or the number of years it takes to accomplish a degree or a technical certification. I suspect that there are many such waiting times in your lives as well. Some of you might be pregnant or hoping to conceive or adopt a child. Perhaps you are waiting for a promotion or for news about a diagnosis, test results, or biopsy. Perhaps you are waiting to hear back about a job interview or are looking for work right now. Perhaps you are considering moving or changing jobs. All of this adds up to we spend a lot of our time waiting. And I always thought that the trick to winning the waiting game was patience to outlast the waiting. If I could just be more patient, I would master the art of waiting and naturally do a better job of getting on with my life once the waiting was over. Since wasn't that the point of the whole thing? To get to the end of the waiting so something real could happen. I lived a good chunk of my adult life like that. I would tell myself, once you get to college, everything will change. And then, once you graduate, your real life will begin. And then it was buying a house. And later, if I could just get that promotion. If I could just hurry up and finish seminary. And in the process, my real life, those moments that string together and create meaning, was slipping away. I was so focused on the next goal that everything felt conditional. Like it was the prelude to whatever I was reaching after at the time. Be it a relationship, a vocational change, a move, or some other arbitrary milestone that I set for myself. But here's what I learned. The trick to waiting isn't just patience. The time between now and the fulfillment of desire is not something simply to be endured, to be gotten through as quickly as possible. This is not winning the waiting game. The goal, it seems, is to stop waiting. Stop waiting for the world to change, waiting for my real life to begin, waiting to finish what I'm doing so that I can move on to the thing I really want to be doing. What is happening now is my life. And even though I have hope aplenty for future dreams, we are all fated to live this life one moment at a time. The action of our lives is found in the waiting. Life is in the in-betweens. There's a word for this. This is liminal space. To be in liminal space is to be between one thing and the next, but not waiting. Christian mystic and ecumenical teacher Father Richard Rohr describes this strange twilight well. It is when you have left the tried and true but have not yet been able to replace it with anything else. It is when you are between your old comfort zone and any possible new answer. If you are not trained in how to hold anxiety, how to live with ambiguity, how to entrust and wait, you will run. Anything to flee this terrible cloud of unknowing. So how do we experience the liminal spaces in our lives? I can tell you it's difficult. Embracing uncertainty and trusting the process is the work of a lifetime. But I can offer some suggestions as to how to begin. The trick was waiting for me in my own childhood. I grew up Catholic, and even though I always hated waiting, I have always loved Advent. It did not seem so much a time of waiting as it did a time of expectation, hope, and preparation. The process theologian Alfred North Whitehead suggests that we are guided by three values: the true, the good, and the beautiful. the true being what is, and the good being what ought to be. Beauty is what we create in the space between the true and the good, when we work to build a world that reflects our aspirations for what is possible. As Unitarian Universalists, we find many truths or ways of being, and many goods or ways things ought to be, both in our own individual lives and the collective life of this planet. But how do we get from what is to what ought to be? This is the ultimate liminal space, the leap of faith, grasping at the trapeze bar, hurtling towards you. This is a beauty derived from the contrast between things, in difference and in ever-increasing complexity, a liminal beauty. As you look around your own life, think of this definition of a beauty that is all-encompassing and ever-changing, a beauty that includes both hope and hardship, that shuts nothing out of the circle of your life. If this is the definition of beauty, then we are living in an ever more beautiful world, as well as one that feels more fragile every day. It is that mingling of uncertainty and hope that breathes life into the waiting spaces, that gives liminal space its static charge of electricity. Think of a trapeze artist. When she is swinging from her trapeze, she is graceful, to be sure, even beautiful, but she is not quite fulfilling the purpose for which she climbed that tall ladder. She is swinging, but not static. She is gaining momentum. It is only when the second trapeze is released towards her, and she can feel the truth of what is under her fingers slip away as she arcs toward what will be, that her purpose is fulfilled. It is in the moment when she releases the bar and stretches to reach the next handhold that we are mesmerized. She is free of her past and has yet to meet her future. This stomach-dropping anticipation and exhilaration you might be feeling right now, just imagining this scene, is the essence of liminal space. Stretching to fill the space between what is and what is possible is a web of hope. May it hold you and carry you, willing the space between where you are and where you are going to be filled with life.